OMG. I'm late. Alright, guys. I look like a stone cold mess. That's alright. What's going on here? Alrighty, hold on. Is this... Hello, Raj. Welcome. Okay, I'm late. How did I do that? I should have done something with my hair at least. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone. How are you? Welcome to Star People Storytime. It's Friday night. Hi. See all of this? This was me. Oh, see, I didn't do that well. This is me getting the ebook together. We're on time. I know. Today was very busy. See, look. Today was extraordinarily busy, but it's all right. We're getting it together. We are. The lighting this way is not good. Hold on. I feel like I should be like that. Alrighty. So how are you guys doing? Happy Friday. What's up? Hey Bernard. Hey Steve. Hey Raj. Yeah, I do need to get myself together. Seriously. Today was so busy because I'm a one-woman show. That's all right. We made it. We made it. That's yes. Go team. So let me see. We're almost done. We're almost done this book. This is exciting. So we're gonna do chapter 26, 27, 20. So I think we're going to do 26, 27, and 28. They're not long chapters, but it makes sense because we can do 29 and 30 together, I believe. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. So yesterday we read chapter 25 and we got to meet Kai's mom. And so we got to get the full Kai's mom. I think Kai's mom is my favorite character. Kuai Yin is my favorite character. I'm like, of all the characters, I'm really looking forward to seeing Kuai Yin on screen. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what she looks like in a movie. Like, I like that. She's my favorite, and it's probably because she's so ethereal and mysterious, and I'm just looking forward to see that come to fruition. And I'm actually looking forward also to seeing how Lucifer evolves from book 1, how he's presented in book 1 to this book 2. And I almost gave something away, and I'm so glad that I didn't do it. I love you guys. We just have like total conversation. Okay, so We're in chapter 26, so if you're ready, we're going to start. Chapter 26 is Love Bubble. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self was another. Toni Morrison. When Jasper and I woke up and got out of bed, Kai was tapping feverishly on her computer keyboard. "Good morning, my love. I'm glad you're feeling much better on this new Earth morn," he said. Kai was so deeply entranced in what she was doing, she hadn't heard him. "Kai?" The only response he got was the muted indentation sounds of the keys. The muted indentation sounds the keys made when Kai's finger rapid-fired over them. Her fingers were moving so fast, it almost sounded like music. She was in such a state, Jasper I thought something was wrong, so he moved nearer to her sight line in order to get her attention. He stepped closer, but he was moving slowly on purpose. He could tell something was off. When he was just behind Kai by an arm's length, he could see it. Around her and her desk was the faintest outline of a thin golden orb. It was just barely visible and had he just walked up on her, he wouldn't have seen it. Considering it was there, meant it was there for a reason. As a means of protection, maybe? He reached his arm out to it just to see if he could touch it or if it had a feeling tone or texture. Just putting his finger near the orb caused him to wrench his hand backward, which caused the momentum of the rest of his body to fall backward to the floor. Kai turned around at the same time. "Mahi?" The bubble evaporated and she ran to him. "Are you okay?" "Do you know, this is the first time, in some time now, that you've called me by the naming nick you gave me when we first met," he said in all seriousness. He helped himself up as he said this. "Nickname," Kai said, laughing. "You didn't answer my question. Are you okay? How did you fall?" "Ah, nickname. I knew it was something ridiculous like that. I am quite fine. It seems that whatever you were working on required a special sort of assistance." "Huh? What does that mean?" "Your bubble has residual effects." "My bubble? What bubble? What are you talking about, Jasper I? Speak plainly," Kai said, annoyed. "Look at my thoughts," he said, just as annoyed. "Oh," Kai said. "I had no idea that was there." "How was that there? Why would I need an orb around me to write a blog post? This is so weird." "Agreed," Jasper I said. "Maybe it has something to do with my mother's visit last night," Kai said with a shrug. "Kuai Yin was here? Last night? How wonderful!" "Yeah, I miss my mom. We had a good talk. I feel much better, I think." "Is that so? What did you and she speak of whilst I was nestled conveniently in our earth bed? I am also wondering why I would not automatically arouse when she arrived. I am privy to know that she comes with quite a presence." "You've never met Kuai Yin in person?" "I have not yet had the honor, at least not in this lifetime." "Well, take comfort in knowing that she's met you. She said she was at our wedding." "I would not even think to doubt such things." "I'm sure you two will meet at some time in the near future. From what I know about my mother, she's extraordinarily intentional. If she hasn't shown herself to you yet, it's for a good reason. But she thinks you're great. At least that's the impression she gave me. She quoted you at least once or twice, if I'm remembering correctly." "I'm honored that you shared that with me, Kai. I look forward to sharing an audience with her when the time comes," he said, sounding a little awestruck. "Check my head. I'm sure there's an image of her in there somewhere," Kai said. "I already have. Unfortunately, both Kuai Yin and the Light-Bearer boys leave little by way of visual impressions. We can presume it is because they vibrate from such an ethereal frequency. Or maybe they just don't want me to have their image hanging around in my head for mind readers to be able to see. Maybe they like their anonymity. They are kind of a big deal." Jasper I smiled at Kai's cleverness. "That is a worthy theory as well," he said, giving Kai a loving grin while stepping his massive, gorgeous form toward her. "I was thinking, since we are in the stages of reconcile." "Yes?" Kai said, catching all of the sensual vibes he was sending in her direction. Would you care to join me for my morning bathing ritual? I would, actually. I could use a morning bathing ritual this morning, she said, flirting. She was hoping he would ask her exactly that. Before either of them blinked properly, their cosi were off. They were completely naked and were as close as they could be to each other. It had been so long, Kai almost forgot that her husband's skin smelled faintly of sandalwood and a forest rain. He had an unusual, powerful smell to him that was unlike any man she had ever known. He smelled like an entire forest and a river flowing through it. It didn't hurt that he had the physical size of a climbable tree, and his eyes were as blue and golden as the sun reflecting off clear tropical waters. Maybe he smelled like a tropical rainforest. Sun. He smelled like sunlight, too. Kai was thinking all of these things as her body peaked, and she couldn't help but close her eyes and let Jasperai take her in his arms with as much abandon as he wanted. They kissed passionately. She let her hands caress his face as their lips met and parted. She followed with kisses on his chest. She took his massive hands in hers and kissed those too. Before long, she lifted her arms around his neck, which allowed her enough leverage to lift her hips up to meet his, so that she could wrap her legs around his waist. Jasperai moaned quietly as his eyes began to glow bright blue. Without much hesitation, he moved toward their bathroom. They hit a wall on their way, and so they stayed where they were. Kai breathed deeply and thoughtfully as she allowed the connection of their kissing to blossom and the pleasure she felt to grow. She missed this. She missed him. By the time Jasperai entered her, her skin felt like flames. He was slow and rhythmic, kissing her lips as his hips pulsed between hers. The power in his thrust escalated the more he looked into her eyes. He moaned more loudly, and his eyes glowed brighter. Just as Kai was sure she was to find the ledge of her passion and leap off, Jasperai stopped. He leaned in and whispered silently in her ear. Edge, he said, with a really broad smile. You have to remember, book 2 goes with the edge. Every time you hear edge, and there were a couple chapters where it was edge, like book 2 is like, goes into this so deeply. So that was chapter 26. I told you it was short. So we're doing chapter 27 and 28. Okay. So chapter 27. You're smelling like an old nature boy. You're so stupid. He's from another planet. 27. Coverings. O Lord, help me to be pure, but not yet. St. Augustine. By the time Kai and Jasperai finally found their way to the tub and were able to sit and relax themselves in the singing water, it was almost time for her to get Kai too up for school. Despite his wonderfully enticing attempts to keep her at his side, he too finally resolved to get himself ready for the office. They took their time kissing and enjoying their closeness, but only until they were interrupted. Mommy? Kaitu's little voice rang through the vacuous hall-like structure that was their master bedroom. Yes, baby girl, we're in here, Kai said, hurrying herself out of the tub and into the softest towel she had ever had on her skin. Oh my God, where did these come from? She said, rubbing the towel on her skin like it was silk. They have been here since we have been here, love. Comforts from home. Certainly you have bathed since you have returned. I believe you have. I certainly would have noticed if you had not, Jasperai said, laughing. Of course I have. Maybe I've just been too distracted to notice how wonderful these towels are. Or maybe I needed some extra love vibes to appreciate them. I don't even remember these from Tuesday, or maybe I do and just forgot. It seems I don't remember a lot of things, Kai said, not actually meaning to add any depth to the towel conversation than the conversation warranted. There is more to what you are saying, is there not? Of course there is, isn't there always? Do you wish to speak on these things with more clarity now, or do you wish to carry them for the day, and we can revisit them when I return home for the evening? I wish, to help my daughter get herself ready for school and not make this day a repeat of the last one. Let's just start fresh. I had a full, draining day yesterday. I prefer today to be light and fun. You certainly have helped the process along, Kai said with a full-teeth grin. Whatever your heart desires, my love. Would you prefer that I stay home with you to continue with our fun? I am positive Lara would not mind. I'm not entirely sure I have imparted enough lightness with you as yet. Jasper's smile grew bigger, which caused Kai to smile ever bigger. I would love for you to stay. Then it is done. But I would also love to finish this piece I'm working on. I feel like it's important. What am I saying? I know it's important. That's why I want to finish it. Jasper, I looked disappointed. But we can do both. Why don't you go to work for half a day, and instead of going out to lunch, your midday meal, you come here instead. Wait, aren't Lara and Moreau coming back this morning? That was the initial intention, yes, but she is going to the office this morning. I think you have a divine plan. I shall meet her there and inform her that we will not be available until this evening, he said with a sly smile. I shall also ask your brother to bring our Kai-Tu home from school, if this pleases you. What are you doing? Baby, you have 1,000,000 pencils out there.
I know, but they're broken.
I'll reuse what you have, because you're interrupting.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Where was I? Perfect, Kai said, giving Jasper a deep kiss. Thank you. I'm looking forward to our midday rendezvous. It is done, he said, standing up from the tub in all of his glorious wetness. Kai gasped. She hadn't wanted to, but she couldn't help it. Her husband was physically glorious. She wanted to change her mind and tell him to stay for round 4? Or was it 5? Mommy, Kai-Tu called out again, as if on cue. Coming, baby. Kai said, practically peeling her eyeballs off her husband's form and turning an intentional heel out of the bathroom. When she stepped through the door jamb, she was fully dressed in her kosai and ornate pink-orange robes. What in the... She was studying her arms as though she wasn't sure they were hers. She hadn't thought herself to be dressed. So how was she dressed? She had already decided that she liked to dress herself, even if the kosai came with a deal, by no fault of her own. Dressing herself also meant that she got to wear what she wanted to wear when she was ready to wear it. Certainly she would have picked jeans and a t-shirt. Certainly. Taking Kai-Tu to school didn't call for ceremonial robes. She shook her head in disbelief, because she had only minutes before she proclaimed to her husband that she didn't want another strange day added to the books. Oh, ha 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 ha. She shook her head in disbelief because she had only minutes before, proclaimed to her husband, that she didn't want another strange day added to the books. Light and fun, she said. Her heart sank. She already knew her plans for light and fun weren't going to work out. It took her a while, but when finally she wasn't so distracted over the oddness of being dressed and had intended to go about getting Kai-Tu up for school, she jumped in surprise. Kai-Tu had been standing quietly a few paces from the door, dressed and ready for school in her uniform. But she wasn't alone. Picard, Kai said, flabbergasted. As soon as the boy's name left her lips, her eyes watered. She couldn't help her surprise or the aching she felt having him exactly where he was. To see him close up again. Then Jasperai walked in the room. He too was dressed in his kosai and blue-gold ceremonial robes. When he finally looked up from his own sleeves, his mouth dropped. "Isn't it wonderful, Mommy? He is going to help you guys get your wings back," Kai-Tu said giddily. Y'all ain't even ready. Yes, and Aubrey said, Aubrey, everybody said Aubrey. Oh my goodness. So, Picard has showed up in the building. What is happening? Chapter 28, you ready? Unexpected company. If you do not expect the unexpected, you will not find it, for it is not to be reached by search or trail. Heraclitus said that. Both Kai and Jasperai had a hard time catching their bearings. Even though Kai had spent some time with Picard before, she was still stuck staring at him. Being face to face with the gorgeous boy, his magnificent kaleidoscope eye, and her instincts about him made her feel like her insides were ripping out. A mother always knew her own children, right? If he was hers, if he could be, wouldn't she just know without needing to ask? But she didn't know. It was too late to sit on it, as her mother and Jasperai had suggested. Her moment was now. If only because the boy she so desperately wanted to figure out was standing right in front of her. If she studied him, she would know, wouldn't she? Next to Kai-Tu, who was exceptionally tall for her almost 8 years, Picard seemed small and slight. Kai still wasn't sure how old he was. He still looked to be about 5 or 6, but standing next to Kai-Tu, he looked younger. His giant eye was distracting to her study of him because she was looking for specific things. She was looking for herself in him. His thick curly hair could have been from her, the golden brown of his skin too. She was looking for the Yaman in him also. Could it be? He shared his father's regal nose. It was then that Jasperai interrupted her busy study with a gentle grasp of her hand. "It is an honor to meet you, Picard. I am Jasperai. I share a Hayu with Kaiwan and thus share responsibility for Kai-Tu," he said with an Om Omni Shakai bow. Picard returned his bow, but then allowed his focus to stay on Kai, who was still stuck staring at him. "I was told that you are one of two," Jasperai continued. "I was told that you came to the Earth plane with your brother, Accord. I wonder where he is presently. I would certainly love to make his acquaintance also." Jasperai was trying to shake Kai out of what he knew she was doing. "Accord is here. He is always..." Sorry, I gotta do his voice. "Accord is here. He is always where I am," Picard said, never moving his gaze from Kai. It was subtle, but along the side of Picard's form fizzled a golden light. It fizzled for a moment, just along the side of the boy, until its subtleness became more opaque, and the light began to fill in a form, starting with little feet. Slowly, like melted gold in a mold, the full form of an identical little boy, except with 2 eyes, took shape. Picard blinked his giant eye, and the fully formed boy next to him blinked too, and then bowed with a smile. Jasperai choked. Kai stood staring at the 2 boys with her mouth open. Accord is Picard's companion. He's not a real boy. Well, he is, but he wasn't born in the way we are all born. Picard made him from himself. Isn't that so cool? Kai-Tu said, still giddy. Kai was still too in shock to speak actual words from her actual mouth. Her brain had stopped working also. Jasperai wasn't doing so well in the communication department either. He was so stuck on the literal translation of his "aren't you one of two," which actually meant 2 of 1, not unlike their malas, as Kai had suggested. He could have more easily formed a clone of himself than form adequate words for what actually happened right before his eyes. When I was very young, I was confused about how I came to be. There was no one of our people like me. While I was always surrounded in love and light, I always felt alone. My family is quite kind and generous, make no mistake. I learned the way of light through them. I simply always felt that I was different from the Lath of Sa. It was them, but not I was them, but not of them. I learned later that I was not Lath, but something else. My parents told me that my true mother lives on the earth plane and that I was born to them in order to learn what only they could teach me. They were my surrogate parents for a grand cause that the universe depends on. When I had learned everything they could teach me, I would come to earth to be with my mother. So we came, and we are here. Mother. Kai was looking at Picard so intently as he spoke, she couldn't even be sure his lips were moving. She was trying to take all his words in. Did he just call her mother? Did he just confirm her suspicions without her study of him bearing the fruit of her own conclusion? She wanted to see every molecule that made him up first. She wanted to know, not for him to tell her. Her eyes moved from Picard to Accord and then back to Picard again. Every one of her senses were overrun with what was real, what could be real, and what was impossible. Even if she was seeing it, even if she heard the words from the boy's own mouth, she still couldn't see herself or Yaman in him, and this made her panic. Another part of her felt lapsed, like she was stuck in another reality, that all she was experiencing was a dream and she was making it up. She was making it all up to quench her desperation for answers. This was what she wanted, right? She wanted to know her son. She wanted him with her. She wanted to see how he turned out. Didn't she just get her wish? So why did she feel so stretched about it? Why did she feel like getting what she wanted was the last thing in the world that should happen? She wanted to faint. She actually willed her body to faint and for darkness to fall into her eyes and senses so she could reset everything and start over. She wanted this day to be light and fun, and instead it was heavy and odd. The only thing she could think to do, and all the desperation that was threatening to suffocate her, was to do what any mother would do. She couldn't help herself. Her body was on autopilot. She couldn't stop it if she wanted to. Before she had even realized what had happened, she lunged forward to him and scooped him in her arms. Picard was nestled in her embrace, and she was planting him with as many kisses as she could find in her body. She kissed every length of his little face, his arms and hands. She held and kissed him to replace every hug and kiss she hadn't been able to give him for all the years she hadn't been able to. Then she pulled Kaitu into the hugs and kisses too. She held her babies, and they all fell into a tangled pile in the center of the floor. Before long, Desperai added his arms and legs into the tangle. Kai cried through the entire process. She cried tears of joy through the hugs and tears of sadness through the kisses. She cried tears of anger and anguish and tears of completion. She was finally with her son. Her son. She had no questions in the stretch of time they lay there on the floor holding each other. She had no questions at all. Only that the greatest question she had ever had since she woke up had finally been answered. Now what? Now what? Were you fooled? So that gut check. And see, I knew that was going to happen because, I had the insight. But I forgot. Mm, 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 mm. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Yeah, this book, man, let me tell you something. You don't get to hold on to any of your feelings. Like, you don't get any of them. Like, you don't get to have any of your feelings. So I'm going to... Oh, you think this is the best chapter? Really? Why? What's... Steve, why is it too much? Yeah, man. So now now it's like rounding out. So just imagine. So her son, she's got her daughter, she's got her son. She's pregnant with twins, right? What in the world could possibly happen? And I don't know, but I know, but I don't know. But I just feel like it's just, you just get no air at this point. Like, it's just, you get no air. So what do you think, though? Like, did you know that Picard was her son? Did you know? These mosquitoes tore me up today. And, oh my gosh. I was working outside today. Like, editing. Hey, Wayne, welcome. The cat is out of the bag. But did you know Picard was her son? Who had a hint? Who thought that Picard was her son? I need a drink and I just... Did you know? Nobody's answering me. Did you know Picard was her son? Yes or no? Yes or no? Well, interesting story. When I was writing this, and the restaurant scene happened, and she first met Picard in a court, I was like, who are these kids? Like, that is so... And then I'm watching the themes, because when I'm writing, I don't have an outline, so I don't have any future sight of how things are going to be. As I'm writing it, that's when I get the information. So it's not like I go, oh, okay, so chapter 14, so-and-so is going to happen. It's like literally I'm taking the ride. So the same ride that you're taking with the story, that's the ride I took writing it. So I just remember watching as things were going, and I'm seeing, this panic happening in Kai, where she's really like focused on her son. And when she first met Picard, I was sitting here going, okay, well, who is this boy? And who are these boys? And then I think in my spirit, I wanted to believe that it was her son, but I was like, but they're twins. How is this going to play out? You know what I'm saying? But she was like, it was very clear. Book 1, it was very intentional. I'm learning. Like, now that I'm in book 3, I'm learning that all the things, all the pieces, all these little things that didn't make sense, but I knew they had to be in there, now they make sense. You get what I mean? So there's something to be said about, being channeled, because, you have to trust. And I think that's why I was so scared of it when I first wrote it, because I was like, what is this? And a lot of it was just, okay. But, getting to write book 2, that answered a lot of questions. And now, book 3, it answered so many more questions. But the thing about book 3 is that not only answers all the questions from book 1, but now it's a whole new set of questions that are going to unravel. And so I just have to trust that by the time this whole thing is done, it'll unravel. Okay, well, you said you had no clue until she talked to her mother. Okay, wait. Oh, so you think... Okay, so let me start with Raj. I had no clue until she talked to her mother. Now, why do you think that when she talked to her mother, there was a clue in there? I didn't get a clue from her mother. Why do you think her mother gave her a clue? And why do you think Bernard the Kai 2 revealed it? Do you think because the two of them knew each other, they were revealing themselves? You think that was the clue? There were clues. Let me tell you something. There are clues all up and through these books. So if you really if you want to be a super sleuth, you will find all the answers, because there are clues all up and through this. It's like one big foreshadow. And then the other thing I noticed is that there are lots of subtle repeats. It's almost like if there's a specific theme, the theme will be addressed a few different ways. And it's on purpose. It's almost like, I need you to get this nugget here. When Kai met her mother, yeah. I didn't get that. But if you got that, you're the man, because I'm sure it's in there. There are clues all over that. But I guess from the standpoint of just watching Kai, I feel like Kai gets in her own way. So as we do. So it's very likely that her mom was setting her up, giving her that insight, or telling her, you already know the answer, boo-boo, sit your ass down, and she just didn't. So that's why I feel like, even though the boy is standing right in her face, she was still going through it. It was like, she didn't know her own son. So I think, I don't know. I don't know, but you the man. Yeah. Bernard, the kids just got along too well. Kai too literally. Yeah, that was a clue too. That's true. Because remember, Picard was like, your daughter Kai too. Like, he was really, and remember, Kai initially was like, well, what do you know about my daughter? Like, excuse me, who are you? And I think she read it wrong. So, and I always kind of felt like Kai2 and Picard had been in touch. And I don't remember if they addressed if that's addressed in here. I told you I stopped reading ahead because I wanted to be fresh for you. Right. That's right. That's right, Bernard. That's pretty much what Kai2 was doing. Look, Mom, it's your son. This is my brother right here. Hello, neon sign. And my dunce behind, I wrote it and I wasn't getting that until when he said the words mother, and I remember distinctly in the front of my computer, and it was coming out, and I'm sitting here going like all the feels, and I remember going, okay, well, that's nice, you and Jasper I are making up, that's nice, but just so that you know, everything ain't in stone. You ready for some more gut checks? But I remember sitting in the computer and I'm like, okay, that's nice, getting back together. And then when, you know, the Kai2 line comes, Mommy, that whole thing, I'm like, well, what is this little girl doing? I know she reads minds, so like, why does she not know that her parents are busy right now? And like the fact that Kai2 was just right there and it was like, mommy, that kind of thing. I was like, well, what in the world could possibly about to be happening? And then I just remember then going, okay, well, why is Picard here? Like, what's happening? Like, I'm writing this going, okay, well, imagine how you felt with me reading it. That's how I was writing it. And then when he said the word mother, I was like, fall out. So that happened. So tomorrow, I just tomorrow we're gonna read chapter 29 and 30. Yeah, we're gonna read 29 and 30 tomorrow. Because I think we can get through it this. Yeah, we'll be able to finish this month before the end of the month. So we're gonna do 29 and 30 tomorrow. If you have any questions, throw them in. This is like the last hurrah. I want to get some more work done tonight so that I can be done. Well, thank you, Bernard. I feel like I'm not really here. I feel like my brain is going in 19 different directions, so forgive me. I'm a little distracted today, but that's all right because I'm going to stop, drop, and meditate after I get off here so I can get my mind right, finish what I got to do. I'm like, blow. And then tomorrow we're going to do 29:30. I already said that. For those of you who might be new, although I don't think there are any new people here today, but there might be. Every day we read a chapter from my book, the Stellar Trilogy, book 3, Light of the War, and you are welcome to catch. We're almost done. Like, we at damn near chapter 30 now, and they're like, how many chapters in this book? There are 43 chapters in an epilogue, so we almost done, boo boo. But if you want to catch up, you can go to my Facebook page that is the Stellar Trilogy series and catch up. All the videos are there and they're labeled appropriately, so you'll be able to catch up easily with ease and grace. Love for you to check that out. If you want to get the books yourself, if you're more of a reader rather than a listener, that's great too. You can go to that same page, the Stellar Trilogy series Facebook page, and click on the shop now button. It's in there. You can go to, those are for signed copies. You can go to my website, envymckee.com. You can go to Barnes & Noble. You can go to Amazon. They all over the place. And then also at 11:11 a.m. we do Stop, Drop, and Meditate. And one of the key themes in this book, and you've seen how it runs the gamut, meditation is so key. Just about in every single chapter there's some reference to sit your ass down in some aspect. You got a problem, sit your ass down. You don't have a problem, sit your ass down. You want some insight, sit your ass down. Kuai Yin was very powerful yesterday in saying, you hear that silence? That's where all your answers are. I was like, so this book is very deeply, heavily about self-rule and realizing that you have a sanctuary where all of your answers are. And that is in meditation. So saying all of that to say you are welcome. If you're never meditated before, you don't know what meditation is, you want to try it, don't want to try it, you just looking to watch other people do it, whatever you're into, 11:11 a.m., Facebook Live and Shine, we do Stop, Drop, and Meditate. Okay? So I have said so much stuff right now. I'm getting off of this. I'm going to go finish my work, and then I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to sleep. Or maybe some variation of that. But I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And will the princess be attending? I don't know if Aubrey's going to show up tomorrow. Aubrey's, she's her own thing. Get some off next time, Queen. I know. The mosquitoes are... They're mean people. Mean buggies. Okay, guys. So I love you. Levian Heil Star people. And I will see you mañana. Bye-bye.